40 lakh products pay free one-day delivery. Prime offers.
All right, guys, thank you very much for joining in. We have a lot in the store today from the standpoint of agenda. So let me bring up my screen over here. All right. Can you guys see my screen before, just wanted to confirm that, it is visible to you guys? Can somebody please confirm that, you can now see my screen? All right, good. Thank you, Priyanka. Guys, welcome to the SBR orientation for the upcoming exam. We have reached on to the stage that now we will be kickstarting our journey for the upcoming SBR exam, and that's why we are here for. What we'll be doing in the coming 45 minutes to an hour or so is that we'll be going through the the overall SBR exam per se, in terms of what is there in the SBR exam. And of course, what all things we really need to take care and of course understand from the standpoint of clearing this exam in the best way possible. I just wanted to set the stage right for all of you. I just want to have some ground rules for all of us, guys. This is more like a requisition, as you may want to understand. I really want all your cell phones to be on the silent mode, please, and I'm just trying to do mine so that, it doesn't really bother you. And I would really appreciate, if you can, have it on the silent mode, if not switched off, just to make sure that, you're there with me as max as possible in these 45 minutes of time. I would appreciate, if for a like another hour or so, you can get away with your WhatsApp or Facebook, because I would be really needing your 100% attention over here. Now, another important point is that there is a lot that would be going on into your mind in terms of what is going to be happening in the strategic business reporting exam, especially in context of the changes that have been brought up from the September 2023 attempt. Now, we'll be covering that in detail in terms of, what has changed and what has not. I really wanted to spend time on that. So we do have a slide really talking on to that. But all I would say is that when you have any doubt, just speak up. There is nothing called stupid question. There can be stupid answer, but, you would not have a stupid question. Any question that really comes to your mind, just jump me off. We'll be more than happy to take it up. Let's make it as interactive as possible, guys. This is your time. This is your session. Let's chat as much as possible. I really like chatting, on various things, that so that I can really help you do well in your exam. तो बच्चे बहुत सारी बातें करनी है और बहुत सारा कुछ एक दूसरे से सीखना है. So the more you will talk on and more you'll bring on things onto the table, the best it is for me to really contribute back and really help you in the best possible way. And of course, towards the end, let's if there is anything that is being left or any feedback that is to be provided, feel free to just provide us that. I'll be more than happy to pick it up. The agenda for the day, the way I said, I have following things in store today that I intend to really cover up and ensure that we have the right answer for that. I do want to talk on the strategic business reporting exam. I do want to talk on the exam changes per se in the strategic business reporting. And I do want to talk on a few of the recommendations that we think that can be helpful to you. I do want to talk on your exam strategy. Now, this is something you should we'll be going through in our sessions also in our revision boot camp, wherein we'll be building your strategy to ensure that you get the right perspective in terms of how to move on in that direction. And we'll be jumping off and and we'll be getting over there, in the best extent possible. Towards the end, I do want to give you some time in terms of, going through the questions that are coming up in your mind. So if there is anything that really comes up in your mind from the standpoint of, any kind of confusions, any kind of doubt, or any kind of areas that I have not covered for whatever reason, do pick that up and of course, bring it on table. We'll talk on that and, we'll try to, as much as possible, resolve that in the best extent possible. So, Q&A is certainly there for you to really take the best benefit of. Now, coming on to, what I really wanted to cover to start with is that I really want to cover up one of the important piece, that I'm sure you are really looking forward to is that you may want to know me more, more from the standpoint of knowing me as a as in my background. So just to give you some color to it, my name is Pankaj Dhingra. I'm a qualified chartered accountant and a CPA from US. Having almost 20, I can say reasonably now 25 years of experience from the standpoint of doing various leadership roles in various MNCs. I've been part of Cargill Foods. I was heading the finance for Wipro, for a long time. I've headed the finance for BlackRock and also for Boston Consulting Group. I've been the global faculty for CA, CPA, and ACCA around the globe, and of course, have been chatting around with people on various topics. Have been a veteran speaker on various topics in finance and so on and so forth. I've given my WhatsApp number also, my friends over here, and of course, my email ID, so that if there is anything that I can help you out personally, you can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to pick that up. And of course, if not anything, at least I can guide you to the best extent possible as to what you should be doing, and of course, what you should be addressing. If I move on to the strategic business reporting exam, guys, just a sound check, guys, and of course the visual checks. You are able to hear me rightfully, right? Oh, somebody is saying not able to hear anything. Really? Are you guys able to hear me rightfully? I see one person saying that not able to hear anything. 1+ DN 2101 to everyone. So that 1+ guy, are you able to hear me rightfully now? I think everybody is able to hear it. So Akanksha is saying yes, Priyanka is saying yes, Pooja is saying yes. So most of the folks are saying yes. So maybe, okay, fair enough. Good. Thank you very much. It helps. Since we can't see each other, I would have appreciated if you guys would have like switched on your cameras, and if you, of course, we can have a candid chat. But if not, at least, having that kind of a sense check would really help me that, I'm keeping you awake and you're not sleeping. All right, moving on, guys. What we have in store today is understanding the strategic business reporting exam per se. बच्चे एग्जाम 3 घंटे 15 मिनट का होने वाला है. 3 hours 15 minutes is and it is the normal time frame for all of the strategic business reporting exams. We have 4 questions in the exam, and then we have 2 sections. Section A has 2 questions and section B has 2 questions. There are 4 professional marks in the strategic business reporting exam. SBL may, of course, these professional marks are 20, but in SBR exam, professional marks are only 2 in the section A and 2 in the section B. Effectively, 4 marks are allocated to the professional, I would say, skills that you need to demonstrate. And the examiner specifically says that in the section A, the 2 professional marks are awarded for applying the ethical principles and recommending the appropriate actions. And we have done this in depth in our session when we have understood what kind of ethical principles that you need to follow and how one should be really responding back. In fact, we have given you an arc in terms of how one should be managing this, and mnemonic that you should be using, a strategy that you should be using for implementing the ethical principles in the strategic business reporting exam. In the revision bootcamp, we have practiced a lot on that, and I'll be coming on to that in a while when we'll be discussing on your strategy for this exam. But what is imperative over here is that you should understand that 2 marks are free marks. I consider these marks to be the free marks, because for this, you don't have to write anything. It is just that you would write something, and examiner would understand that you understand, and you are the professional accountant in the world, and you are the strategic business reporting person of any industry, and hence you are there. Now, coming on to the section B, 2 professional marks are awarded for appropriate discussions related to the conceptual framework. Now, conceptual framework is the start of the session that you would see. Once you'll start the sessions, you will see the first and the foremost thing that we'll be covering is conceptual framework, in terms of understanding that how the reporting framework of IFRS has been built on. So we'll be going through the nitty-gritties, basic समझेंगे बच्चे, in terms of going on to the roots कि conceptual framework होता क्या है, कैसे ये reporting framework बने, किन principles को ध्यान रख के बने, क्या-क्या चीजें हम लोगों ने thoughtfully सोची, क्या-क्या चीजें हमने of course build करी to have the IFRS की जर्नी कैसे होती है, कैसे IFRS शुरू होता है, क्या-क्या चीज, कौन-कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन IFRS को बनाने में हेल्प करती हैं, उसकी जर्नी क्या होती है फ्रॉम द सोर्स डॉक्यूमेंट टू द I would say to the final IFRSs. We'll be covering all of that in the conceptual framework, and of course this really helps us in terms of understanding what really goes behind the scenes, just to make sure that you are able to appreciate as to what are the skeletons behind the IFRSs. What we really need to demonstrate over here in section B is that we would have 2 professional marks wherein that will be related to कि आप conceptual framework को कितना समझे हो और उसको कितना अच्छे से demonstrate करके जाते हो या करते हो in answering the questions, and especially in relation to the importance of the conceptual framework to the investors. So we'll be learning that a lot, and of course, in the revision bootcamp we have practiced the questions also on this in terms of how one should be dealing with in the section B questions. We will be getting on to the details when we'll touch upon the revision bootcamp. But I just wanted to give you a start. That start is 3 or 15 minutes exam. 4 questions will coming on in the while in terms of what those 4 questions are all about. In section A, we have 2 professional marks. In section B, we have 2 professional marks dedicated for few different things. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Moving on, guys, about the SBR exam. Now, SBR exam is a 100 marks exam. We have section A and section B, as we just spoke, 2 sections. Understood, sir? Pretty clear. कोई problem नहीं है, sir. समझ में आ रहा है, sir. एक क्वेश्चन बच्चे जो पहला होने वाला है वो 30 मार्क्स का होने वाला है, जिसमें कंसोलिडेशन इशू जनरली होता है. मैं 100% तो नहीं बोलूंगा, बट जनरली कंसोलिडेशन इशू होता है, जिसमें हमें कुछ डिस्कस करना पड़ सकता है, सजेस्ट करना पड़ सकता है और रेकमेंड करना पड़ सकता है. बच्चे, एक बड़ा डिफरेंस जो स्ट्रेटेजिक बिजनेस रिपोर्टिंग एग्जाम और जो बच्चे हमारे ACCA फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग लेवल से आ रहे हैं, उन्हें समझने की जरूरत है. वो ये है कि फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग एग्जाम बच्चे is more of a calculative exam. Strategic business reporting exam is more of a recommendatory, suggestive और discussive exam, जहां पे आप चीजों को समझते हो, चीजों को understand करते हो और उसके ऊपर comment करते हो, rather than doing hell lot calculations. And of course, there is one big change that has come up in the September 2023, which I'll just talk on in a while, which effectively has further reduced the requirement of preparing something or calculating something. We'll come about that in a while, but what is important is that हम समझें इस बात को कि जो पहला क्वेश्चन होने वाला है उसमें सारा का सारा इंटेंट भी यही होगा कि हम डिस्कस करें, रेकमेंड करें, सजेस्ट करें, and of course there will be some bit of calculation that will be involved, but not to the depth that the way we are used to in any of the reporting exams that we've handled. अगर वो बच्चे जो इस एग्जाम को पहली बार दे रहे हैं, especially coming from these chartered accountancy background, जिन्होंने कोई ACCA का एग्जाम अभी तक नहीं दिया है, उनके लिए भी ये चीज जानने लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि स्ट्रेटेजिक बिजनेस रिपोर्टिंग एग्जाम में आपको पूरे के पूरे फाइनेंशियल्स बनाने या कैश फ्लो बनाना या फॉर दैट मैटर P&L बनाना नहीं आने वाला है. सो कंसोलिडेशन भी अगर आप करेंगे तो कंसोलिडेशन से रिलेटेड कोई इशू डिस्कस करेगा आपसे, आपको पूरा का पूरा कंसोलिडेशन करके नहीं देना है. एंड CA के बच्चों को ये बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स भी आते हैं बिकॉज दे आर यूज्ड टू डूइंग द एंटायर कंसोलिडेशन इन द एग्जाम. ACCA SBR एग्जाम में वो कंसोलिडेशन नहीं होने वाला है. That will be more of a discussive, specific topic related areas that you really need to talk on. There will not be a fully fledged question. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Coming on to the second question that is there in section A, which is of an ethic issue. Now, this is a question wherein something would not be right. कुछ गलत हो रहा होगा from the standpoint of CFO not doing something, controller not doing something, the management not responding back properly, because the directors not doing something that is right, and so on and so forth. You have to understand what is really going on over here from the ethics standpoint, and you have to recommend what is the right way of correcting it, what is the right way of suggesting the right, right course of action, and so on and so forth. So we would be discussing about the ethics in detail in our sessions. There are some dedicated sessions that we really talk on, that what kind of ethical dilemma that is strategic business reporting guy can get into. And if he really gets in over there, then how can he really come back with the flying colors in terms of recommending what is the right way out and what is the right action that the person has to really take an answer on with. अब मैं बात करूंगा बच्चे सेक्शन बी. सेक्शन बी में बच्चे 2 क्वेश्चन आते हैं और दोनों क्वेश्चन जो होते हैं वो IFRS से रिलेटेड होते हैं. बहुत सारे IFRS वो आपको एग्जाम में टेस्ट करता है, चाहे वो कंसोलिडेशन रिलेटेड IFRS हो या वो स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक रिलेटेड IFRS है, जैसे डेफर्ड टैक्स है, लीज है, PP&E है, the property plant and equipment, the depreciations of the world, the earning per shares of the world, the financial instruments of the world and what not. बहुत सारे एरियाज हैं जिसमें स्पेसिफिक IFRS आप SBR में मेरे साथ पढ़ने वाले हो. And of course, the way our section, our course is being structured, we'll be going through, a journey of the IFRSs right from the conceptual framework to the consolidation. So एक IFRS को पढ़ेंगे, and of course we'll reach on to the consolidation. And after consolidation, there are few areas that we'll be covering, including the current issues and the ethical issues, to really wrap this up and start practicing the questions in the revision boot camp. What is really important over here is that 2 क्वेश्चन IFRS के आने वाले हैं जो सेक्शन बी में होने वाले हैं. अगेन इन क्वेश्चंस की भी अगर मैं बात करूं तो यहाँ पे भी आपको बहुत सारा क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस अपने हाथ से नहीं करना पड़ेगा फ्रॉम द स्टैंड पॉइंट ऑफ कैलकुलेशंस, बिकॉज यहाँ पे भी बहुत सारी चीजें वो आपसे इशू रिलेटेड पूछने वाला है. The entire intent of the strategic business reporting exam is not on calculation, but on understanding, that how much you have understood the concept, how much you are able to demonstrate that knowledge onto the financials, and how much you are able to understand the issue and address it rightly. That is the intent. Calculation का intent उसका नहीं है, वो ये मान के चलता है कि calculation तो आपको आती है. For example, goodwill calculate करनी आपको आती है, वो मान के चलेगा. वो मान के चलेगा कि आपको नॉन कंट्रोलिंग इंटरेस्ट निकालना आता ही है. He may give you something wrong that is happening in non-controlling interest and he wants you to correct that, but he would never say that 1 2 3 4 5 and 10 calculate non-controlling interest. That doesn't happen. Generally ऐसा एग्जाम में नहीं आने वाला है. What will be there is that he will give you some issue at your hand, be it an IFRS issue or a consolidation issue or an ethical issue. You have to understand, consume the information, understand what is going wrong, what is the right course of action, what is the right IFRSs that you really need to apply, what is the IFRS treatment. You have to demonstrate that, correct that, and get it going. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now coming on to the another piece that you would get in the section B is the issue on the current issues. There are various current issues that are happening in the reporting world. There are various changes that are happening. I'm just giving an example. When the COVID came up, there was hue and cry in terms of how one should be handling a scenario like this from the accounting standpoint, how the going concern is getting impacted, how the sustainability is getting impacted, how the overall organizational feasibility is getting impacted, how does that impact the overall financials, and so on and so forth. तो एक current issue है. उस current issue के ऊपर कुछ pronouncements आएंगी, कुछ discussions आएंगी, कुछ topics आएंगे, which you should be aware of. That's how these current issues are. And generally in every exam, there are 10 15 current issues. कभी कम भी होते हैं, कभी ज्यादा भी होते हैं, and you have all those current issues with you. We have already given you the complete perspective on various current issues that will be applicable for the upcoming exam. What is really important is that you should go through those current issues and think about कि ये exam में test कैसे हो सकते हैं. हमने इनको detail में समझा है, हमने इसको detail में समझाएंगे भी, and of course we will be capturing that in the revision boot camp in detail, wherein we'll be practicing questions also onto it so as to ensure that we are not missing on that. Is that clear? Yes. So now ये हो गया बच्चे ओवरऑल SBR एग्जाम की. एग्जाम ऐसा नजर आने वाला है, एग्जाम में ऐसे क्वेश्चन होंगे, इस तरह के क्वेश्चन होंगे, ये एक्सपेक्टेशन होगी and what not. अब मैं चलता हूं बच्चे. I just wanted to show this slide primarily to tell you, because this is specifically being mentioned on the ACCA website, and ACCA specifically mentions this in various pronouncements. That really comes up is that he explains you that in the SBR exam, what you're requested to, or what you're expected to, is that you would demonstrate your ability to appraise, assess, critically discuss, apply accounting concepts and principles to the given scenarios. He nowhere wants you to calculate or show your arithmetical accuracy. He doesn't want you to do that. And explain the appropriateness of the particular accounting treatment for a given transaction of an event or an event. This can involve calculation as well as explanation of relevant accounting standards. कुछ हो रहा है बच्चे, जो गलत हो रहा है उसको ठीक करो, उसको ठीक करके demonstrate करो, और उसको ठीक करके अपनी explanation भी दो, and move on. The SBR paper also includes ethical aspects requiring candidates to demonstrate their understanding of professional and moral judgment that accountant must make in practice. ये हम discuss कर ही चुके हैं बच्चे कि आपको ethically जो भी चीज होनी चाहिए वो demonstrate करनी पड़ेगी एग्जाम में, just to make sure that you're not missing on and having control over what can go wrong from the ethical standpoint. SBR का किंग बनना है तो एथिक्स को तो समझना ही है, बिकॉज एथिक्स रिपोर्टिंग पर्सन के से तो पार हो ही नहीं सकते. All the reporting guys really have to have the ethical principles into it, just to make sure that what they're really doing from the standpoint of reporting is all the more right. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now, a few things that I really wanted to talk on from the September 2023 attempt. They have made some changes, and I really want to bounce off those things, at least for you to really know, so that, we should know that, what got changed and, what should be our strategy in terms of killing this. Now, from September 23 onwards, question number 1, which is, of course, the question of a consolidation, most probably will use a pre-populated spreadsheet response upon containing a draft consolidated financial statement. बेटा बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लगता है अगर हम इसको समझेंगे. ओहो बहुत सारे चेंजेस हैं. इफेक्टिवली एसबीआर में कोई भी चेंज नहीं है. What they have not changed any content, they have not changed any syllabus area, कुछ भी चेंज नहीं किया. करंट इश्यूज में भी एक आधा छोटा मोटा एडिशन है, नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं है, सब कुछ सेम है. What they have said is कि अब से ना जो आपको पहले क्या करते थे, वो आपको क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 देते थे जहां आपको कंसोलिडेटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट को कोई पीस का या कोई स्केड्यूल बनाना पड़ता था. यू हैव टू गो इन एक्सेल, यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर दैट. आप छोटा सा कोई लेट्स से आप गुडविल कैलकुलेशन करके दिखाते थे उसको, या करेक्ट करके दिखाते थे, या आप नॉन कंट्रोलिंग इंटरेस्ट का कोई पर्टिकुलर करेक्शन दिखाते थे, या कोई स्टेटमेंट समझाते थे. अब वो कह रहा है कि हम वो सारी चीजें ना आपको करके देंगे. स्प्रेडशीट में ऑलरेडी एक प्री पॉपुलेटेड लेट्स से कंसोलिडेटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट ऑलरेडी पढ़ा दिया जाएगा आपको. What you need to do is कि उससे रिलेटेड अगर कोई गलती हुई है तो उसको आप ठीक करो. अगर कोई इसमें ओमिशन है तो आप ठीक कर देना, उसको डाल देना फिगर को वहां पे, एंड सो ऑन सो फोर्थ. तो पहले बच्चे जो काम मुझे शायद खुद करना पड़ता था एक्सेल में जाके, वो मुझे टू एन एक्सटेंट करा हुआ मिलेगा, बट हाँ उसमें गैप्स होंगे, उसमें एरर्स होंगे जो मुझे क्वेश्चन को देखते हुए ठीक करने होंगे. सिर्फ यही एक चेंज है बच्चे जो एसबीआर में आया है, इसके अलावा और कुछ भी चेंज नहीं है. घबराने की जरूरत बिल्कुल नहीं है. बहुत सारा हो हल्ला हो जाता है एट टाइम्स दैट दिस हैज चेंज्ड, दैट हैज चेंज्ड. कुछ भी और चेंज नहीं है, एंड दैट इज द ओनली चेंज दैट इज देयर इन स्ट्रेटेजिक बिजनेस रिपोर्टिंग एग्जाम. मैंने जो रीसेंट ACCA हैज बीन डूइंग वेरियस वेबिनार्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ equipping ourselves in terms of dealing with these kind of areas, and that's what we have I would say we have deliberated, calibrated, discussed at length, with ACCA, just to make sure that, we are really understanding that, and we are able to, really communicate to our students, that this is what it is. तो घबराने की जरूरत बिल्कुल नहीं है बच्चे. We are fintrammers, sir. We never get scared for anything. We know what the examiner expects, and we will rock on in the exam. And of course, sir, we'll be treating you with a cup of coffee. I'm loving you, my friend, for that. That is something has to be there in you. That is the reason, I have coffee now outstanding, around the world. Whatsoever part of the world you are, I have coffee outstanding from your area, primarily because we as Fintrammer, we have done rockingly good in the exam, and that's what we'll be doing. That's what we'll be targeting. One of the requirement will ask question to correct the spreadsheet, as I said, for the range of issues. बच्चे वो rectification of error जो क्लास 11-12 में होते थे ना, वो वैसी गलतियां दिखाएगा हमें. वो एक स्प्रेडशीट के अंदर हमें फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट दे देता है, जो पहले हमें नहीं देता था वो मुझसे दे देता है, और उसके अंदर कुछ गलतियां होंगी जो हमें ठीक करनी होंगी, कुछ omissions होंगे जो हमें डालने होंगे, and we'll of course then after comment on what is there in that question as the question may need. Now coming on to the current issues, current issues will be more investor focused. I think ये शुरू से ही थे. I don't see that there's a big change coming in this area. Current issues investor focus standpoint से देखे जाएंगे कि investors कहाँ impact होते हैं, current issues कहाँ investor के perspective से impact कर रहे हैं उन्हें, और उससे related reporting में क्या-क्या changes होने चाहिए. That is it, my friend. There is nothing else that has changed. बिल्कुल और बिल्कुल भी घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है. What you're expected to do, of course, we'll talk on that in detail as we go forward in our sessions. Student may have to adjust the draft consolidated statement that will be given. The consolidated statement would have like an error. Student have to deal with such issues such as an accounting error, changes in accounting policies, or acquisition or disposal of subsidiaries, or any information that is being missing. आपको अगर ऐसा कुछ भी लगता है तो आप उसे ठीक करो, ठीक करके आगे बढ़ चलो. There may be some unrecorded transaction, as I said, omission हो सकते हैं. Student को उन्हें ठीक करना पड़ेगा उस financial statement में, and they have to move on. However, student would never be required. I just want to highlight this. Student would never be required to construct consolidated financial statement from a parent and subsidiaries separate financial statement. बच्चे अच्छे से जान लेना, detailed preparation of financials exam में नहीं आता है. मैं खास तौर पे अपने सीए स्टूडेंट्स को बोल रहा हूँ, बहुत सारे सीए स्टूडेंट्स मेरे पास एक कई बार पूछते हैं कि सर बस इतना ही करना है, बस इतना ही करना है। हाँ बच्चे, बस इतना ही करना है, बट जितना कह रहा हूं उसको अच्छे से करो, बस इतना ही समझना है। हमने इस चीज को नहीं समझना है कि सीए में तो पूरी मुझे कंसोलिडेटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट बनाने पड़ते थे, यहाँ तो सर इतनी रिक्वायरमेंट ही नहीं है। बट जो वो पूछता है उसका स्टाइल अलग है पूछने का, और उसी चीज को हमने कवर किया है बच्चे अपने सेशंस के अंदर, रिवीजन बूट कैंप के अंदर, ताकि हम वो चीज समझें कि कहाँ गलती बच्चे कर जाते हैं, ताकि हमसे वो गलती ना हो। हम तो फिनट्रैमर है सर, हम वो गलती करेंगे ही। Loving you, my friend, for that, but we should know this. Now coming, what's not changing, I just want to highlight this. कुछ भी और नहीं बदला है, but I just wanted to tell you, it is still a 3-hour 15-minute exam. Still we have 2 questions, and it's more like सब कुछ सेम होने वाला है। एग्जाम के नंबर ऑफ आवर सेम है, एग्जाम का स्ट्रक्चर सेम है, प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स सेम है, जो एक्सपेक्टेशन है वो भी सेम रहने वाली है। सो नथिंग इज चेंजिंग except the fact that you would get a pre-populated areas to be talk on, and of course to be really corrected on. Now, if you really want to circle down in terms of what you have got as a FinTram SBR course, and of course what we'll be going through together, we have the ongoing sessions coming like this, and of course we would have you already have received the detailed video sessions, and that covers each and every syllabus area in detail. हम syllabus areas को भी cover करते हैं सर, सॉरी हम सिलेबस एरियाज को भी बहुत डिटेल में करते हैं, और हम उससे रिलेटेड बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन भी सॉल्व करते हैं क्लास में। एंड ऑफ कोर्स टुवर्ड्स द एंड वी आल्सो सॉल्व फ्यू क्लास क्वेश्चंस जस्ट टू इंश्योर दैट वी आर हैविंग द कंप्लीट ग्रास्प ऑफ इट। क्लास क्वेश्चंस मिलेंगे आपको बहुत सारे टॉपिक पे, जो आप जरूर करोगे, अपने हाथ से करोगे, just to make sure that you're not missing on to that. And then we'll discuss various current issues and latest updates, जो ACCA specifically recommend करता है, that are relevant for your upcoming exam. We will certainly have webinars like this, live Q&A sessions like this, wherein we will be touching upon, and of course having the detailed discussions on what is really what is really has been your queries, any concerns, or what should be your strategy, how one should be really thinking about it. That is a real time connect that you would always have with difficulty with me. And of course you would also be in link with me in the WhatsApp. So you already would have WhatsApp number of myself, so you can of course reach out there. And once you've done the syllabus here beta, then we'll start the revision boot camp, which is like the question marathon, wherein we'll practice section A questions, consolidation. Then we in fact that starts off with the concept building questions. So we'll many of the folks who are directly coming on from to the professional level, उन्होंने skill level नहीं दिया है, क्या उनका exempt हो चुका होगा, या फिर वो डायरेक्टली सीए वाले स्टूडेंट होंगे जो डायरेक्टली आए होंगे, उनका एक रूट या बेस बनाने के लिए वी डू सम कॉन्सेप्ट क्वेश्चंस आल्सो, जस्ट टू मेक श्योर दैट anything that is being missed is really taken care of. So we'll do that concept questions, then we'll move on to section A questions, consolidation, section A questions, ethics, then we'll move on to section B questions, जहाँ हम बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करने वाले हैं from the IFRS standpoint, including the past exam questions. अब ये सब करने के बाद बच्चे हमें मॉक एग्जाम करना है, और मॉक एग्जाम जरूर करना है। 2 कर सकते हो 2 करो, 3 कर सकते हो 3 करो, मॉक एग्जाम जरूर करने हैं, मेरे साथ करने हैं, मुझे बताना भी है कैसे कैसे हो रहा है। We will talk on that, we'll review that, we'll provide you your review in terms of how things are really going wrong, so that you can correct it there and then and come up with the flying colors in the exam. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now that's what I really wanted to cover, my friend, today, and of course to give you a perspective as to what is in the strategic business reporting, I would say is all about, and what all things that you really need to take care of. I just wanted to also highlight the changes that are coming up the strategic business reporting exam, and that's what is gonna be a game changer for you if you're really coming up with having an understanding of those changes. With that, I'll open up the house for the Q&A. Anything anybody may have from the question and answer standpoint, I'll be happy to answer those queries, concerns. You can put that in the chat, or you can, of course, unmute yourself and speak on that. You have my, the contact number, and of course, the WhatsApp details, and of course, the details of the FinTram in case you want to reach out to them for or any clarification. But anything that you may need, happy to help there. Any questions, guys, anyone may have? Happy to chat. Akanksha says, sir, but if we do not prepare financial statement, then can we give recommendations? Yes, my friend. Absolutely, yes. Now, let's say, let's take an example. The question that you have got has a non-controlling interest calculation that has already been done. Let's say something was wrong in it, which you have corrected. Now, non-controlling interest that you have over there, you are basically recommending that non-controlling interest is something right or wrong, or that non-controlling interest that you have calculated suggests that the company is having this kind of a control. If I just shift the example to let's say, you are calculating, let's say, an impairment of any let's say impairment of any segment that is happening. Now, if the calculations have already been done and you're not supposed to do anything, then you have to comment back that what the accounting standard or the IFRS really says about that that impairment, and what has happened in the question, is it right or wrong? Many of the times, Akanksha, that calculation that would have been given to you in the pre-populated sheet may not be right, या कुछ missing होने वाला है बेटा. तो आपको सबसे पहले तो वो मिसिंग पीस को जोड़ना है, और फिर ये देखना है जो अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट हुई है कि IFRS वो सजेस्ट करता है नहीं करता. अगर IFRS स्पेसिफिकली बोलता है दैट यू हैव टू let's say value the inventory on cost or NRV, वो follow हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है? अगर नहीं हुआ है तो you would call out that the IFRS says this, but the organization has not done this and they have to do this. So you're effectively giving the comment तो बच्चे IFRS पे देने वाले हो, आप financial statement पे नहीं देने वाले हो. तो IFRS में जो भी issue देखोगे आप उस पे comment करोगे. आप overall let's say financial statements पे comment नहीं भी करोगे तो चलेगा, because वो तो specific issue आपसे पूछने वाला है. Thank you, Kangsha. Anybody, guys, anyone may have, as I said, you can unmute yourself if you want to talk to me, or if there is anything that I can help you out with, then you can, certainly put it out in the chat. This is your time, my friend. You have to gain the best advantage of it. The reason we come up on weekly basis, bi-weekly basis is that, you should get some perspective, about how things should be moving. And अगर आपकी कोई क्वेरी है, कोई कंसर्न है, तो हम उसको बच्चे वहां के वहां रिजॉल्व कर सकें. How can we plan our study considering we only have 3 months with a job? बच्चे, बहुत सारे बच्चे तो यही कर रहे हैं जो आपका सवाल है. तो आप कोई अलग नहीं हो बेटा कि आपके पास 3 महीने हैं और आपके पास जॉब भी है और आपने तैयारी भी करनी है. सारे बच्चे ऐसे ही करते हैं. बच्चे, एक चीज आप जरूर समझना, ACCA प्रोफेशनल लेवल एग्जाम आपसे सारे दिन की पढ़ाई नहीं मांगता है. जितने भी प्रोफेशनल लेवल एग्जाम्स होते हैं ना, दे आर नॉट लाइक कि आपको सारा दिन पढ़ना है. बट इफ यू आर consistent in delivering what is to be delivered, then everything happens. Because for example, when I did my CPA, I was in a full-time job. वो तो मंथ एंड भी था, क्वार्टर एंड भी था, ईयर एंड भी था, सब कुछ चल रहा है. बट उसके साथ पढ़ाई करनी है तो क्या करना है, मुझे सुबह 2 घंटे देने हैं, मुझे रात को 1.5 घंटा देना है. तो 3-3.5 घंटे मुझे डेली निकालने हैं. कोई गैप नहीं आएगा, कोई मिस नहीं करने वाला हूँ. वीकेंड जैसे आएगा तो मुझे पता है मैंने सैटरडे को 4-5 घंटे निकालने हैं, संडे को मैंने 4-5 घंटे निकालने हैं. अगर आप ये फॉलो कर लेते हैं बेटे, then there is nothing to be worried about, and nothing that can stop you in this world for clearing any exam in 3 months of time. 3 महीने में अगर ये एग्जाम ले रहे हैं बच्चे ACCA वाले, तो उन्होंने सोच के लिया कि 3 महीने में तैयारी हो जाती है इसकी, तभी उनका एग्जाम उस तरह से बना हुआ है. आप इजीली कर पाओगे अगर आप एक रूटीन में रहोगे, एक प्लान बना के चलोगे. Of course, we will also provide you your study plan in terms of what should be your approach of doing what you're doing, and that you have to rigorously follow the same. मैं आपका नाम जान सकता हूँ बेटे? मैं आपके सिर्फ फोन के नाम से देख पा रहा हूँ आपको. आपका नाम जान सकता हूँ मैं? व्हाट इज योर नेम? All right, Shivani, is that clear? Does that help, or answer your question that you have?
Yes, sir. My question was more around the study plan itself. Yeah, because
you'll be getting that. That would help you in terms of doing that. But Shivani, एक चीज पक्का से जान लेना बेटा कि एग्जाम तब तक क्लियर नहीं होगा जब तक आप कंसिस्टेंट नहीं होने वाले. कंसिस्टेंसी लानी पड़ेगी बेटे. मैं आपको अपना भी एग्जांपल दे देता हूँ. I was in Wipro that point in time, and it is long back when I started my CPA. तो मुझे डेली पता होता था कि मुझे ऑफिस जाना है. अगर मान लो मुझे 8:30 निकलना है तो मैं 7 से 8, 8:15 पढ़ के निकलता था. और मैं ऑफकोर्स ऑफिस से जल्दी आने की करता था कि मैं थोड़ा सा जल्दी आऊं. आके मैंने 2 घंटे लगाने हैं तो मैंने लगाने ही लगाने, और मैंने कोई दिन नहीं मिस करना, क्योंकि मैंने वो प्लान बना लिया कि मुझे इतने दिन तक ये करना है. That is the approach that you need to follow. अब उसमें for 3 months of time job का कोई aspect हो सकता है उतना strong ना चले जैसा चलता था, but ठीक है, so, you know, the sky is not falling, right? So you have to plan yourself. Of course, we'll help you in terms of, you know, what the right plan should be. And then at the same time, you have to follow that plan rigorously. And then, you know, exam में जाने से पहले माता पिता के पांव छू के जरूर जाना, and then sky is the limit.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anybody, guys, anything that I can help you out with?
So what will be the last date for ACCA exam registration?
ये तो मुझे नहीं याद है ऐसे, मतलब every time they keep changing the dates. So मुझे ऐसे याद नहीं है बेटे. You have to maybe Google it out and I'm sure you'll get to know. Unfortunately,
Okay,
I don't remember this offhand.
thank you, sir.
Anybody else, guys? Anyone? Okay, so somebody says 31st July. Good. Thank you. Guys, anything that you have in mind, I still have some time, you know, to really take care of any question that may come your way. Kuch hai to jarur bolo bete. You know, you know, the biggest advantage that we can have from these sessions is that I'm able to clarify as many doubts as possible, taki aapki journey smooth ho. So anything that you have. All right, let me just call out. Ishika, Kumkum, Lakhveer, anything? Lakhveer, anything that I can help you out with, buddy?
No, sir, it's all clear. Thank you.
All right, Vivek, Kumkum, anything? See, I would only want you to take the best advantage of you know, of a session like this. So, you know, so that at least, you know, it is worthwhile for you to really joining the call. All right, if there is nothing, guys, let's just wrap this up. It was pleasure having you guys here, and we'll see you, you know, in the sessions, and we'll talk more on this together when we'll of course meet and start talking on in the query sessions. Thank you very much for your time, guys. I wish you a very good night. Thank you.
Thank you.